Hey guys, so today I want to make a quick little video where we will be comparing the LG Optimus G, not the G Pro, because I can't have it right now because it's not available in my country, but we will be comparing the LG Optimus G versus the Samsung Galaxy S4. Now both these phones are amazing right now, let me tell you that. This is a high-end comparison if you talk about specs and stuff, but if you look at the price, it's interesting because the price on the LG device isn't that high actually. So this is a pretty interesting video. Like, should you go with Optimus G or should you go with bad boy Samsung Galaxy S4? It's a good question. It's a very good question. We'll be going over some stuff in this video with my Zoega. Yeah. So, where should we start? I think that we will start with some stuff like the price. That usually is the most interesting thing when you're doing these videos. So when we dive into Optimus G here, E975, this phone actually did come out last year, and it did have 6 specs when it did come out, and it still has pretty good specs. And it do cost around 300 to 500 pounds, which is making it a very interesting device because it's quad core, has the same GPU as in the S4 and the HTC One. HTC One's HTC's high-end smartphone from 2013, and it comes in a very premium material, like a glass back and all. It's kind of like a Nexus 4. But with more memory. But 300 to 500 pounds, that's what you can get the bad boy for. While the Galaxy S4, Samsung has built up a name and they can sell it higher, so it costs around 500 to 600 pounds. And is it worth it? It's a very good question. So we'll be going over the form factors and specs, some UI stuff, and you will be hearing my opinions on this little thing. So if you start off here with the first thing is that we will be taking a look here at the form factor. So what we can see here is that they look pretty much the same here on the front side. You can see that this one is a little bit more squared off from LG. It has a different feeling to it, also a glass feeling on both the front and the back side, which is making it feel extremely cool and special and premium because it also has that side glass feeling that I haven't seen a phone ever have had that before. So that's pretty interesting. You get a little bit more of a rounded off design here on the sides. On the Samsung Galaxy S4, you don't have a hardware button also on the Optimus G. You have capacitive buttons inside of the screen. But in terms of form size here, they're still kind of the same size here. Too bad that they couldn't slim it down a little bit more here on the Optimus G. The Optimus G also has a little bit smaller display, 4.7 inch. Plus that it has these buttons into the screen, which is making the screen even smaller, maybe 4.5 inch versus a full 5-inch display here from Samsung with 2 capacitive buttons that you always do use the menu key and the back key, and then a hardware key so you can turn on the phone on the front side, which is something that I definitely do enjoy. So and then also on the Samsung boy, we do have some new sensors up there, the temperature, humidity, and air gesture sensors. Air gesture sensor, which is making it so you can do air gestures and cool things without even touching the smartphone. Some people call it gimmicky. I think it's pretty cool actually. But I mean, you can call gimmicky features cool, I suppose. Yeah. Wow, that was a message. So if you now continue on, take a look at the right side here. Both have the same kind of buttons, power on. And let me just be real here. I think that LG is kind of trying to copy Samsung a lot because you can really see that in many of the design stuff we'll have a look at in the UI. And then we have the same kind of exact same layout here for the buttons on the side, volume up and down, awesome. At the top, exactly the same here as well, headphone jack, and then at the bottom we do have the micro USB. Okay, so that's very good. Now, I'm going to take a look at the back. Both have 30 megapixel camera, which is very nice. And now I did forget to take a look at the camera. but we can take a quick look here in this video. And then also, sorry about that. Oh my god. So we do have the speaker here also at the bottom, and mono speaker in both, not as good as the new HTC One, of course. Here's a big thing that's different between these two devices, and that is that the Galaxy S4 here has a removable back, so you can insert an SD card and expand the battery to a bigger battery, like buying the Anker 5200 mAh battery, which is double the battery that you get in your GS4 at the moment, and then you also get another back that you put on, but it do match the design and everything. So that could be something that you want to take into consideration. Now, how does these devices feel? Well, I'm gonna say it like this: when you hold them like this, definitely the Optimus G feels a little bit more solid, a little bit more interesting here, a little bit maybe boring here on the back, up here. Still pretty badass though. And just made such a good choice here in its design. Buttons are very easy to find. I think this is one of the best designed smartphones at the moment in terms of how you have it in your hand and how you use it, and that it still feels a little bit premium-ish. Now, what would happen if you would drop this? Well, I suppose we shouldn't try that out, should we? But it is interesting. I mean, it is interesting. Both devices are extremely sexy, or I would say that on design, the Optimus G probably wins over a little bit there because of its material-wise. I definitely feel that Samsung could pick like an aluminum back or something, but still have a removable battery or something. That would be pretty cool. Now, if you take a look at the software on both these devices, you can see first here it looks exactly identical, and then when you have your home screens here, also almost looks exactly identical. When we go back here, when we take a look at the multitasking, exactly identical almost. You can see that LG has moved clear to the other side. But other than that, exactly identical. And then also they have moved they have moved some of the other things here that is pretty funny. They moved the menu key to the other side, so instead of left side as Samsung do, they moved it to the right side, which is also pretty funny. And then you have the back key here also on the other side. When we scroll down like this, almost exactly identical. Both have a slider here. You do also get some Q Slides apps here, which is pretty cool on the LG device. And then also you have some quick toggles here, which you can actually edit, but it doesn't look as good here as the way Samsung has put it off or pulled it off, I think. And then also it looks a little bit more clean here on the Samsung edition. But then of course, I mean that you can get it this one for £200 to £300, sometimes cheaper. That's a lot of money for a lot of people, and I like it that you have quick access to the settings area on the Galaxy device. So the app drawer also looks very much exactly identical here. Pretty funny. And they have similar features also. Samsung has pop-up video, and LG has a similar function. So I mean, many things that they do, they are kind of the same, but some way it feels a little bit that you're running on something cheaper on the LG device. Now, of course, if you play around with firmwares, you can get another feeling in the software, because of course you get Samsung's TouchWiz UI on top of the Galaxy S4, while you do get LG's custom UI here on top of the Optimus G. And you can also see here in the settings that's a little bit better on the Samsung device. They split up everything in tabs, which is pretty nice, and it's also pretty easier to move around and find your specific things that you are looking for. But I gotta say that the buttons down here on this phone actually feels some of the best buttons that I've actually felt. And now, oh my god, I did say wrong. Actually, I did say that the buttons were built into the screen, but they aren't. As you can see here, they are down at the bottom here. So my bad there. So you get this full 4.7-inch experience here with the Optimus G. And I mean, in terms of performance here, we're gonna go over the specs right now. Both have 4G capabilities. The Galaxy S4 is a little bit, even though it's a little bit bigger, it's a little bit thinner, it's a little bit lighter. And then also in terms of screen quality, here you get a Super AMOLED screen here on the Samsung one with latest version Gorilla Glass 3 for scratch protection, 5-inch in screen in size, and also full 1080p resolution with 441 pixels per inch, which is making the PPI very, very high, so you won't see any weird pixels or anything. True HD IPS plus LCD display here, 720p resolution on the Optimus G, 4.7 inch, so 318 PPI, a little bit lower than the iPhone 5, and also a earlier version of Gorilla Glass 2. But will you really see a difference between 720p and the 1080p for the most times on smartphones? No, you won't. So that won't really be a big deal for you. But what can be a big deal for you is that if you are the guy that uses a lot of apps and stuff, you do have the SD card option here on the GS4. The GS4 also comes in 16, 32, and 64 GB variants, while the Optimus G only comes in a 32 GB variants. And it's kind of like the Nexus 4, but with more storage. You also do get an IR port here on the Samsung Galaxy S4 up here at the top, so you can control your TV or your TV box with it. In terms of camera here, and if I didn't say, 2 GB of RAM on both also, so I mean it's full high-end specs here. 30 megapixel camera on both devices, as I did say, and I didn't check it out earlier, so we'll just be checking it out right now. So I'll be taking quickly a picture here. And you can't take pictures super quick, but you do have some quick modes here, and I think for most people this will be pretty good. Panorama mode, HDR mode, and let's try, okay. Let's try to zoom in on this picture. You can see that you see a lot of details here, that the camera is pretty decent. Now when we fire up the Samsung Galaxy S4's camera, it do has some new cool features like dual shot, that you can record yourself, and also the thing that you are looking at. So that is pretty nice, as you can see. And then also that the Galaxy S4 has adopted the Galaxy Cameras UI here, so you get a little bit more of a premium feeling here by just using the GS4. And of course it takes a little bit longer here to take a picture with HDR. But then you also might get some more beautiful pictures. So you can see here that I suppose most people will see a little bit more details here, or maybe even a lot more details here on the GS4's camera compared to the one on the Optimus G. But then I can't complain for the price. It's an amazing price for the Optimus G. Samsung has built up a brand name there, so they could price it a little bit higher. If you talk about Android, you get a latest version of Android on the GS4, Android 4.1.2 Jelly Bean on the Optimus G, but it's probably going to get 4.2 very, very soon. In the chipset, we're talking about Snapdragon 600 from Qualcomm in the Galaxy S4, and then also an earlier version of that in the Optimus G. I'm pretty sure a Qualcomm one there as well, but a little bit an earlier edition. So you get a quad-core 1.5 GHz processor with the crate inside of the Optimus G, while you get the newer one clocked a little bit higher, quad-core 1.9 GHz in the S4, clocked at 1.9 GHz, and then also the same GPU in both Adreno 320. So the gaming performance should be still kind of the same here. And then you do have some more sensors on the GS4, like the barometer, temperature and humidity sensors, and some air gesture sensors, and all have been checking out videos about that, how you can use your GS4 without even touching it. But the barometer and temperature and humidity sensors are more for the S Health app that Samsung is providing, so you can count steps and input what you're eating and stuff, and keep track of your health, to put it very, very easy. And then also we do get a little bit more battery life here inside of the Galaxy S4, 2600 milliamps versus 2100 milliamps on the Optimus G. So the Optimus G has same milliamps as you would get in the Galaxy S3, and yeah, it's nice to have a little bit more over there on the Samsung side. And if you take quickly a look here in terms of browser, if you want to check out the colors. I would say that these displays actually seems to be performing pretty much the same here in terms of colors. I mean, both these displays are extremely similar here, even though it's an LCD displays. Was actually kind of surprised here. Maybe the white looks a little bit more white here on the Optimus G's display, because often LCD displays display that color pretty good. But then when we do get a lot of colors here and everything, usually the Samsung one is the one that's going to be the winner. When we go in and out, no problem whatsoever over here. Maybe that you can go up and down a little bit quicker here on the S4, but I don't think that's going to be a big deal. And if we now just check out some quick Kindle here. So also this time, I mean, you get a higher resolution display here on the GS4. If you have very, very small text, you might notice a little bit of a difference between the 720p and the 1080p display. I mean, if you do have these phones up to your hands or up to your eyes, you will actually see a little bit of a difference there, that this is 720p, this is 1080p. But for most people that won't really read that small text, it won't really matter that much. It's more of a sales gimmicky little thing there with 1080p displays. But then often we geeks, we always like to have the best out on the market. So in that kind of way, it's pretty cool. And also, if we take a look at some gaming, I know all you guys love gaming. And some people want to see like real world performance. So let's just fire up real racing here, which is racing in real life. No, it's not. So if we start off here with the GS4, you can see the sick performance that we do get in here. Just sick stuff. It's sick to hold this little phone in my hand. It just feels so good. Yeah. It's a good phone, okay? No problems or whatsoever. And also, if you take a look at the Optimus G, So we can see here also that the performance is amazing. The game performs just as good here on the Optimus G, which could be nice to know. So you can just drive and drive and drive and drive, and it's awesome. You will win if you drive very fast. But you probably won't notice that major difference in gaming because they have the same GPU, almost exactly the same processor as well. It's a little bit better there on the S4. So very nice to know over there. So now also let's take a look at some benchmarks because people always want to say that. You can also see now when we have a lot of what? Okay, that was running. Unable to brightness due to temperature. What? Oh my god! Oh my god! I can't. Unable to increase due to temperature increase. Oh my god! Wow! I can't use the display brighter just because the device got a little hot. Wow! 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 That is what I'm talking about, people. This could be one of the reasons why you want to pay a little bit more to get a little bit better software, feel a little bit more premium. You just get some little better stuff. You don't want to see stuff like, oh, I can't increase the brightness because temperature increase. I mean, is the phone going to explode? I don't think so. Those are things that could be why you wouldn't want to go with LG. Samsung has built up a brand, and they are the ones to go with right now. I mean, trust me, you want to have freedom. I can't increase. Unable to brighten more due to temperature increase. Is that a joke or what? So let's try some Antutu benchmark scores here. Hopefully my Optimus G won't burn to death. But those are some annoying things, definitely. There we go. Score of 25,000. Ooh, you still get a pretty good score here on the Optimus G, but that is not surprising. We should get that. We can see that the base difference here is that the higher clock on the CPU on the GS4 1.9 GHz quad, of course, will make a difference because it's quad cores, so 4 cores times 0.4 GHz or something. That is sick. Also seems that like the RAM is better here, which is pretty nice to know. We'll also be checking out another program, which is a more heavier GPU program. See if we'll see any major difference if we do that as well. Let's run this. Yeah. Let's run that. Yeah. I'm just kidding. So this will also be going on for a few minutes. Yeah. So I'm getting a score now. Let's see here. So we get a score of 7,000 on the Optimus G and almost 11,000 here. So now we did see a pretty big difference here in terms of the GPU. That you will see that you can get still some better performance, but this could also be that the CPU is involved and stuff. But to sum up this video, you can tell me your opinions down below. I would say go with the Samsung one if you don't want to have weird problems like this. Unable to brighten more due to temperature increase. I mean, come on. Maybe you can disable that in the settings, maybe. But still, I mean, of course, if you are running a little bit low on money, the Optimus G is not a bad phone overall. The price is amazing. The LCD display is also amazing. The form factor and that it is like glass and everything is nice. It's very, very nice. I'll see, maybe you can get a nice case for this or something. But if you have the money, I would say go with the Samsung one. You will be happy you did, because you will know in the future that there will be a lot of firmwares, a lot of apps, and everything will be focused. A lot of gadgets and plugins and accessories and cases and everything will be available on the S4. While it may happen that this one gets forgotten by LG and no one ever use it again. But do what you want. 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 And S4, why would you pick it up? CPU, GPU, dual apps, dual shot, battery, TouchWiz is like awesome, better. You have air gestures, you have smart scroll, you don't even have to touch the device almost. Versus LG, they're kind of like ripping off a little bit too much, it feels, in TouchWiz. It's a little bit, the camera app is a little bit, it feels a little bit like you get older versions of Android-ish. But I still think that Samsung could produce a better TouchWiz as well, especially in the menus. Could look a little bit like Android 2.3, and that's a little bit boring. But overall, S-Health and some other cool apps that Samsung has included is amazing in the S4, and you should definitely check out the S4. And also bigger battery, yes, amazing, awesome, perfect. And I love also the hardware button on the front side. It's like amazing, perfect. So you can launch the phone at the front side with just one tap, like this. Have a good day.